When cooking for a dinner party or a special occasion, one of my all-time go-to dishes that never fails is that retro classic Dauphinoise potatoes. Or Dauphinoise potatoes as they are often mistakenly called. Creamy, naughty deliciousness. And a quick disclaimer before we continue, no dolphins were harmed during the making of this video. Now, I spent a lot of time honing this recipe over the years and I've not changed it since. Finally, I got it just where I wanted it until, of course, I saw it was available on the Thermomix TM6. Of course, I was intrigued and had to give it a try. Now, looking at the recipe, I noticed that the Thermomix gently cooks the potatoes with the cream and garlic to infuse, very similar to the standard recipe that I honed. So that means the cream and potatoes is already warm as it hits the gratin dish. Now, I'm not exaggerating, but I have to say I was absolutely blown away with the results. It was on par, if not better, than my go-to recipe. And that's why I wanted to share this recipe with you. And of course, it goes without saying, cooking it in the Thermomix is so much easier and a lot less pain. Now I'm going to follow this recipe to the letter, just alter the seasoning and the cooking times to get a better result. This recipe involves thinly sliced potatoes. Here I've used a mandolin. If you want to purchase one of those, I've left a link on the video description. If not, just use the knife and just do the best job you can. Right, as I say, what we're waiting for, let's get stuck into it. Start cooking. Preheat the oven, we'll do that in a minute. 2 garlic cloves. I'm going for 3 because I like garlic. Insert measuring cup. Let's get this garlic chopped. Speed select to 5 for 5 seconds. $1,200 grams of peeled thinly sliced potatoes. Again, I use that mandolin which I've shown you, but now there's a Thermomix cutting aid available. We can't get it here in the UK at the moment. I'm quite eager to get my hands on it. If you've got this cutting aid, is it any good? Is it worth it? As soon as it's available, I shall be purchasing, and I'll be doing a full review, of course, on the channel. Not doing a very good job of getting these in. 500 grams of double cream. Again, the beauty of the Thermomix, it weighs as you're adding. Yeah, the potatoes, before I added them, they were already pre-weighed. Next, 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. I've added the sea salt and the pepper in one go because I know it's going to ask for them. There you go, there's the pepper which I've added, and some nutmeg. And for some nutmeg, you can use whole nutmeg and just grate in if you want, but I'm just adding a little bit now because you'll see when we assemble this in the gratin dish, I will be adding more nutmeg. Next, simmering basket. Let's let these potatoes infuse for 20 minutes. I'll see you soon. Meanwhile, preheat your oven to 210 degrees Celsius or 410 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, get some butter or oil and grease your gratin dish well. The cooking time is up, the Thermomix is finished. Now, if you're going to follow the way I do this dish, it's vitally important that you try a little bit of potato. It's going to be a little bit raw because they're not cooked yet, but you need to get that level of seasoning. If there's enough salt in this for you and your palate, just throw them on, get that cream over, but I know it'll be a little bit low on salt and probably pepper and also nutmeg. Yes, as I expected, for me, for my taste, it's just a little bit low on salt, so we'll be adding salt as we layer this dish up, so let's get it set. So what we're going to do is just put one layer of potatoes down, other than throwing it all in one go. So I'm just going to cover the bottom of the dish. You don't have to be too uniform about this. It's only standard home cooking. So that is one layer. So go a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, and a little bit more nutmeg. you're just building these flavours up. I know it might seem like a lot of salt, but it's not really, because this will feed up to 6-7 people. So we're going to just cover another layer. Again, these are to taste. This is entirely up to you. It's your dish, you can make of it what you wish. Another layer of salt, pepper and nutmeg. And just a layer 3, just get it all in there. Just that little bit more effort, you'll get a much better result. Again, if YouTube did smells, this garlicky, creamy smell in this kitchen's incredible. Perfect. Same again. Bit of salt, bit of pepper, and a bit of nutmeg. Now the rest, now this pot is entirely up to you. Don't overdo it with the cheese. I'm using some Parmesan. If you put too much on, you'll just make the dish too rich. So yeah, go pretty easy with the cheese. Now the Thermomix recipe asks you to cook this for 20 minutes. They're not cooked, trust me. So this is the way I do it. The first level of cooking, the first stage of cooking, cover this with foil because the potatoes will burn before they're cooked. So I'm going to cook them with foil for 20 minutes. Take them out of the oven and remove the foil and cook for another 15 to 20 minutes without foil. After 20 minutes has passed, remove the foil. Bake for a further 10 to 20 minutes until lightly browned on top. And here are the end results. Tons and tons of garlicky creamy goodness, and more than good enough to grace any dinner party table. I do hope you give this a go, and if you like the video, give it a like. If you haven't already subscribed, remember to hit that subscribe button.